especially because, once you have taken on this obligation of someone else's money, there is a pressure to grow at a certain speed, right? And it's very hard to do some of the things that I might say, right? As in, it's just because, you have an obligation to your investor first to be able to grow quickly, because, that's why he's given you the money, So, like I said, the easiest way to build trust is to continuously keep doing what is right for the customer, right? I mean, say what is right. I mean, like a lot of people say, but then you have to walk the talk types, in the sense. Like I said earlier, even at derivatives, for example, at Zerodha, right? If you're onboarding onto derivatives, we actively say, dude, it's high risk product. Are you sure you want to do this, etc. Right? I mean, even for example, it was very tempting. I mean, if I was bothered about revenue and profits, it was very tempting for us to do margin funding. Margin funding is essentially a guy is trying to buy 100 rupees worth of stocks. I'm telling him, dude, buy 200 rupees, I'll lend you for 100 rupees. It's a no-brainer. I think we would add 1,000 crores of revenue overnight if I did this. But we haven't done it because I know it's not the right product. Because most people who come to the market shouldn't be borrowing money to trade stocks, right? And we shouldn't be the enabler to be, for these people to do this, So I think the last 5-6 years, right, has kind of given an illusion that you can build a business in 4-5 years. It's impossible to build a business in 4-5 years. I mean, there's a question I ask almost every scientist that I meet who's working, on carbon, etc. Saying, is there a way to grow a forest really quickly? And he says, you can take a tree, you can put, like a lot of steroids to it, growth hormones, etc. And a tree will grow fast. But creating a forest is different. Creating a forest is the intersection of so many things, So, which unfortunately, unfortunately needs time, So the business is also like that, I mean, so yeah, I think people should think of building a business as like a 10-year project and not like a 2-3 year project. And then when you think it's a 10-year project, then your decision-making framework is what is right for 10 years, let me do that, versus what is right for the next quarter, next half year, next 12 months. Because today, I think one of the things I've seen with most founders is that they're always in constant pressure to meet a certain target, which is 6 months away, 1 year away. And it's very, it's very hard to optimize or, kind of prioritize what is right for 10 years when you have a pressure to perform for the next 6 months or 12 months, right? So I think what founders can do well, we have launched so many products, killed so many products, so many initiatives, and killed so many initiatives. So, but I think so where we've been smart about is that we have attempted to do it. So when we have had an idea, we've said, you know what, if it's worth attempting, we should go do it. But I think where we've been smart about it is saying, when it's gone wrong, we've just killed it very quickly. Because, there's never been that whole ego at play. It's saying, whose head is on the table because this product didn't work, right? Because I think a lot of times bad products end up being kept open for too long because someone's responsible for that, right? So having the way we've internally organized the business, having no one's head being is being on the table when something goes wrong, in terms of any new initiatives or anything new that we have pursued, has meant I think, we've spoken about this earlier, which is, we need to introduce finance in schools and colleges. I joke about this, which is, I don't know why I know circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. I've never ever used it in my life, So, but I think I should be knowing, from school, how everyone probably here knows circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. Probably everyone should know what's a passive fund, what's a mutual fund, what is compounding, why.
Or how is inflation going to kill you?
Yeah, how inflation is going to kill you, why you should invest, save for retirement. I think these basic concepts have to be taught in school, and hopefully that change will happen in us.
I think
I don't know what is about money that people don't. I mean, everyone wants money, but I don't know what is about managing money that people just don't care about it. If to buy a kilo of tomato, people will bargain for hours. But you'll go spend your life saving on an insurance plan without doing any research. Based on a tip. I'm like, dude. I don't get that shit though. Another thing, right? In India, what has happened is financial products have been sold by distributors and not advisors. Okay, and what it means is say you walk into a bank, right? A bank is a distributor of financial products, so he's going to sell you mutual funds, going to sell you insurance, and he's going to sell you what makes him the most money, right? I mean, it's a no-brainer. Now, so his incentive is you not knowing that he's making as much money, right? So that means his incentive is, in a way, you remaining ignorant, right? So while, the entire country has sold a lot of insurance policies, a lot of mutual funds, and a lot of financial products, no one has educated the customer in the process of that sale why you're supposed to do it, or why you need to, you need to understand. Whereas I think the thing about the US is it's more an advisory first, right? That means an advisor first explains you why this product is right for you, right? And then, you decide to do it or not. It's not. I'm not saying that US is a perfect model, but because it's an advisory first, and there's a fiduciary kind of obligation on the advisor of having explained the product, I think US has done a perfect model. But because it's an advisory first, and there's a fiduciary kind of obligation on the advisor of having explained the product, I think US has done a much better job in terms of financial literacy. Much better. Imagine I walk into a bank. I'm a layman, and this bank manager tells me what exactly is the insurance policy I'm buying, and gives me compares it to 10 other policies and kind of explains why I'm doing this, right? I would be more knowledgeable, right? If I'm more knowledgeable, I'll go propagate this, right? And this is something I've been talking publicly. Elon Musk has said, I think this whole population crisis is a thing. A lot of people think we're overpopulating, but I'm a firm believer that most countries in the world have a population crisis, which means India is going to be one of the few countries where which has got the right demographics over the next 10-20 years in terms of having the maximum population actually earning and generating revenue for the country and for the companies, etc. So and usually when I meet my nephews and all of these kids who ask me for life advice, I say, do whatever, don't leave India. So because this whole ambition of going to the US, doing whatever, so I'm like, yes, it's worked out in the past in the US, but I think US given that dollar is kind of losing its supremacy, maybe cyclically it's time for US to not do well over the next 30-40 years, and it's time for India to come. I think one of the big challenge statements, I have no solution about, I don't know how I'm going to solve for it, is, how do I, help him get, figure stuff out, so, and without really trying to push across my choices on him. He plays the drums, and, sometimes I'll be like, dude, Pink Floyd. I'm like, no, Post Malone. So it's, I'm trying to, I think it's like right now my most interesting project in my life is really, is my son. So just to, just the fact that the way his curiosity is going up every day, and how do I make sure he doesn't get consumed by technology and all of those problem statements of sorts.
So do you have rules for him?
Not really. I mean, I don't let him eat junk. So. And yeah, this whole iPad. I mean, in today's, if you give kids, there's a joke. Okay, my mom keeps telling everyone that Nikhil, my younger brother, is 7 years younger to me, and she keeps telling everyone, Nikhil exists only because of Nitin, because Nitin, said, I need a brother. He kept crying, and then then I was like, oh, there was no iPhone back then. If you had given me a phone, I would probably not have asked for a brother.
Who knew Nikhil is iPhone?
Yeah, so yes, I mean, of course, I've there's a limited amount of time access to this internet for him. I mean, apart from those two rules, I mean, there isn't really much.
Okay, thank you.